What is the worst book title you've ever read? Hello guys and welcome to I Love Reading, a channel about interesting book-related subreddit topics. If you love our content, please press the like button, leave a comment and lastly, if you're new here, subscribe to our channel. Now let's get started. Anything goes. Any genre, any title, as long as it's super either cringeworthy, terrible, doesn't make sense at all, is just lame, doesn't tell you anything whatsoever about the book, has nothing to do with the book's contents, or anything else you can think of that makes it a terrible title. Here's the one that prompted me making this thread. The Loosening Skin. John Milton was originally going to title Paradise Lost, Adam Unparadised, and I don't think it would have been nearly as popular if that's what it was called. Similarly, one wonders if War and Peace would have been as highly acclaimed as it was if it was published under its original name War. What is it good for? Any autobiography with a pun on the author's name, which is pretty much any autobiography these days. It's perfectly possible to have an interesting title that isn't cringeworthy or shit. From Rags to Richie almost made me buy a rifle. Louis Theroux's gotta get through this. I heard him interviewed, it was with Graham Norton on the radio IIRC, saying that he knew full well how atrocious the title was and thought it was funny just to plow on regardless. The fact he knew what he was doing could be argued as worse, but I could forgive the man anything. Ugh. The billionaire co-founder of Amway, Rich Davis, and father-in-law to our horribly inept Secretary of Education, Betsy Davis, has an autobiography called Simply Rich, complete with a cover photo of him looking like he just dropped a sick rhyme. Like, was the double meaning intentional? If so, it's so asshole-ish and tone-deaf, yet if it wasn't intentional, it's even more tone-deaf. Worse yet, I live in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where the Davis name is plastered on nearly every building, so his book was front and center in the grocery stores for months. Surprisingly, I never heard anyone ridiculing this title or cover the way I thought they deserved to be. Oh boy, if you dive into Japanese light novels, there's 50 million. My personal favorites are: Is it wrong to try and pick up girls in a dungeon? Do you love your mom and her two-hit multi-target attacks? I couldn't become a hero, so I reluctantly decided to get a job. They are sure as hell descriptive though. Don't forget these. Reborn as a vending machine, I now wander the dungeon. I'm a high school boy and a successful light novel author, but I'm being strangled by a female classmate who's a voice actress and is younger than me. A black gal was transported to a fantasy world and mistaken for a dark elf, referring to a Ganguro girl, so the translation is especially awkward. I've been reborn as an aristocratic pig, so this time I want to tell you I like you. There's also at least one that I know about with emoticons in the title. Not sure if that one has a translation, though. Bob Honey Who Just Do Stuff by Sean Penn. I work at a public library, and we had 3 separate instances of people making formal complaints against the book. It is apparently so awful they were offended we had used public money to buy multiple copies for different branches. It wasn't that they were objecting to the overall content, they just were upset that it was so bad. Apparently Sean Penn doesn't know how to use a computer, like, at all, so this book was written entirely by him narrating out loud to his assistant who transcribed his insane rantings. I'd really love to see a video. I know Terry Pratchett wrote a few books like that after his Alzheimer's got too much for him to type, but he was a master writer already and probably didn't need to, edit all that much. My guess is the book is nearly stream of consciousness with an editor to only fix any grammar or spelling mistakes. I read a book that had been translated from English to Swedish. Its name was Varulvarnas Natt, which translates to The Night of the Werewolves. The original title for the book is I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. I have no idea where they got the name from since there is no werewolves in the entire book. There are vampires, but they never called them werewolves, and the time that the plot covers is longer than a night. The book cover they chose for the translated version is equally misleading and terrible. Don't they give out prizes for the oddest book title? I remember reading an article about this in The Guardian a long time ago. Some memorable prize winners I remember are How to Avoid Huge Ships and Bomb-Proof Your Horse. I can't find the article anymore, but apparently the prize is still an ongoing thing. 2007's winner was If You Want Closure in Your Relationship, Start With Your Legs, a self-help book. Of course I love you. Till I find someone else. I kid you not, that's the actual name of the book. Other gems from the same author are She Broke Up, I Didn't, and You Were My Crush. Till You Said You Love Me. That reminds me of If We Ever Break Up, This Is My Book. The title was better than the book. Any genre? There's a whole slew of Japanese, light, novels with ridiculous names. Best example, I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. Amazing book. Amazing adaptation. The name really pushed a lot of people off. It's a product of Japanese's hyper-competitive creative market. You need shock value in your title in the hope that your work at least get picked up by someone. Birth control is sinful in the Christian marriages, and also, robbing God of priesthood children by Elizabeth Yan Strong Anderson is a very, very strong contender. The book is really, really strange, too. I once stumbled upon the Goodreads page, and I read this review. It pretty much says it all. This is a book title I hate with a passion. It's a book about trauma that was translated into English. The original title means Getting Stronger Where It Hurts. The title of the English edition: The Healing Power of Pain. It makes my skin crawl. Most Chuck Tingle books come to mind. Excuse you, I'm gay for my living. Billionaire Jet Plane is art and should be treated as such. As well as, there's a Bitcoin in my butt and he's handsome. Don't forget his Mona Lisa, pounded in the butt by my book, pounded in the butt by my book, pounded in the butt by my book, pounded in the butt by my own butt. Love browsing cheap sci-fi racks for these. Think the best I've seen was Space Cops. Time Blast, which I cannot find literally anywhere else, and I begin to wonder if I hallucinated it. Proposition by the Billionaire Moose. Eve Langlis. A shapeshifter Canadian moose man with a maple syrup factory finds his human love. I'm an Aussie, so I'll take all the snow stories I can, considering the ashy apocalyptic hellscape I live in currently, no matter how shitty. I didn't finish it, so I hope they got together. God, I read part of that too. I got about halfway, I think, and I just couldn't go on. I thought it might be fun because I read a Bear Shifter one that wasn't entirely terrible. It was bad, don't get me wrong, but the fun kind of bad. I can't seem to find it, but it had a similarly hilarious title and a cover similar to the Moose one, but the girl was a seamstress, fashion designer, and the guy a security guard or something. So I figured this one couldn't suck so much. It did. Only the girl isn't human either, but a cat shifter of some sort. No. Either way, bad. Also repeatedly refers to moose as predators. Pretty sure the author wrote it with a bear wolf or something of the sort and did a search and replace for moose at the very end. There is a book I often see at thrift stores called He's Gonna Toot and I'm Gonna Scoot. After a dozen times I finally picked it up to find out what the heck. It turns out it's about the rapture, and the toot is Gabriel's horn. I always thought it was a book about farts. The worst book title I ever read was Tramp for the Lord. The subject matter was about a Holocaust victim, but at first glance it's like, a tramp for what? How to talk to your cat about gun safety and abstinence, drugs, Satanism, and other dangers that threaten their 9 lives. That sounds like it could be a clever satire. It is. It's not a bad title at all, it's legit just making fun of those how to talk to your child about scary thing here. I have a unique first name. A few years ago a young adult series started to roll out and each book was named after a main character and one of them has my name. Now I've never met anyone else with my name. No one I've met has ever known another person with my name. It fills me with dread every time I see it at a bookstore. What if they make movies? Can you imagine if your name just happened to be Katniss before the Hunger Games came out? Not exactly what original poster asked, but I hate it. My Brother Sam is Dead by Christopher Collier and James Lincoln Collier. I haven't read this book since middle school, where it was required for school, but I've never forgotten the name. Why? Because Sam is alive, the whole book, until the literal last sentence. The title is a damn spoiler, and it makes reading the book depressing because why should I care what happens? No matter what, he's just going to die. And it wasn't even a cool death that felt fitting or heart-wrenching. There you have it, interesting comments by Reddit users on the worst book title they have ever read. Note: books talked about in the video can be accessed through the link on the description below. Thank you for watching till the end. If you loved the video, don't forget to press the like button and also subscribe to I Love Reading. See you on the next video.